Hey everybody, welcome to Outlier on Air, episode 424. This is the podcast where we talk to the founders, disruptors, and mavens of the world. As always, I'm your host, Ever Gonzalez. Thank you for being with us. On today's episode, we talk to Mckay and Jodi Jolley of My Absolute Beauty. This episode, we talk about entrepreneurship, beauty products, and working together as a married couple. These guys are a power couple. They're here in Southern Utah, my hometown. We got to meet face-to-face. They brought a lot of energy. They were funny. They actually brought a lot of soul as well. They talk about some of the things that they've struggled with as entrepreneurs, and it's a very endearing story. I think a lot of us are going to be able to relate. So without any further ado, here we go.
Time, weather, and always pass. Case of the various
Mckay, Jodi, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you for a couple different reasons. You're in Southern Utah. You're in St. George, where I am. So we're actually doing a face-to-face interview, which I like, right? A lot of the stuff that we do is via Skype, via Zoom. But this, having you face-to-face, I think is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're excited to be here and to actually have you as a friend.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun, right? Mm-hmm. So we've been following you guys for a little while. You guys seem to be killing it in what you're doing. So I want to kind of get to know you guys a little bit better, introduce you to our audience, talk about, for this episode, talk about the beauty industry that you guys are in, what exactly you're doing, how it's going, and then also get into how working with your spouse is good and bad, I'm assuming, right? We want to hear all the good, the bad, and the ugly of all of this.
It's all good.
It's all
Okay, so let's get started. You guys are in the beauty industry, right? You guys are doing something that I know very little of, right? Beauty, and then the business model that you guys have. So let's get into it.
Yeah, so that's great for us because a lot of people don't know about it. So I'm excited to be on your show for this purpose. Exactly that. We started in 2014-ish, and it was actually a brand that I started with called Sleek Brows out of London. Sold a ton for them, extremely excited, got tons of trainers under me. They bought lots and lots of product from me. It was a 3D eyebrow building company. Then microblading blew up, as we all know. And that, as soon as microblading blew up, we, Everlasting Brows, invited myself and my husband, Mckay, to distribute for them for the whole entire U.S. So as soon as we started doing that, they have a partner over in Australia who's Otto Mitter, and he is the founder of Elibana Lash Lift. So as soon as he saw, how successful and things are going extremely smoothly with those partners, he invited myself to be the USA distributor for Elibana. So we obviously jumped on board. He's an amazing, honest man that we couldn't be over the moon about to do business with. Nowadays, it's just hard to find somebody, to do business with that's actually ethical and to stay on to what they say and what they do match up with their actions.
So this is a big deal, though. You guys are the only distributors in the U.S., right? That I would assume that, in most other industries, it's hard to come by to be able to get that kind of, first of all, recognition and trust to be able to cover the U.S. What did you do different? Why you guys? Why not a few other people? Why not break it up by state or region?
I think what happened is kind of what I know what happened is that he eventually saw the trust and the history. I think history has a lot to do with business, that if they actually see what's going on and how well it's doing, they can put trust in because, with anything, you can always ask someone to do it, but you really don't know how well they're going to do no matter what brand or who they are, or what title they are until you actually see action. And again, we were doing so extremely well with Everlasting Brows and the people and all the connections we have over the United States in the beauty industry. It was just amazing how the two collided, ourselves and those two brands, Everlasting Brows and Elibana, just exploded, and it's doing still extremely well. We've quadrupled since last year, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, definitely.
And now I want to get into the business model here in just a bit, but Mckay, what do you know about beauty, right? About these products, right?
Yeah,
This is
if my wife came to me and said, hey, this is awesome, let's try it, I'd be like, I don't even know where to, I mean, business is business, but these products, right? How do you feel about it?
I mean, it's good. It's always fun because, talking to men, we always might look at more of an analytical side of things and say, yeah, business is business. And that's kind of, an approach that I took early on. But obviously with any business, you have to like intimately know those products and rely on the people that are providing those products. I mean, like Jodi said, the women that we work with from the UK, extraordinarily talented. Kintia and Monica are their names. They have developed some of the best products on the market, auto as well. Just some amazing people. But, jumping into it, it went from I came from a very male-dominated profession in Phoenix where I did and managed an air conditioning company before I started working.
That's a big job.
It was huge, night and day. And it was, and I took pride in that, and pride in what I did as a profession. And I still love what I do and working with the amazing people that we do, the talent that we have. And obviously Jodi, is extremely talented and is extremely driven and really pushes. And I think that's what kind of changed that. We did have some starting with Sleek Brows and kind of filling different things out. We had a model at the beginning where they were talking about doing state by state, and they actually worked that and realized that we were able to kind of outperform and just kind of grow. And it really boiled down to just responding to people. It seems simple, but that's really all it was, is we were just so gung-ho on like, if somebody messaged us or talked to us or anything, it was like second turnaround. Like we were, and we still
You're
are.
all in, yeah.
Yeah, glued to our phone and making sure that if somebody's hitting us up or asking a question, that it's immediately responded to. And we've told that to anybody that's working with us or helped us. We're like, just like anybody, everybody is strapped for time. And the faster that you can respond to that customer or that client or whoever it is, the better their day goes, obviously, because they're not waiting around. I mean, we, in business, we've had to sit and wait and be patient for things, and it's agonizing at times. Yeah. But really, I can't. It's been a blast. It's been amazing. Again, like I said, amazing people that we work with. It's amazing watching their businesses grow, and as we kind of see other people, out there that are figuring it out and just kind of clicking with business or something that they love and that they're driven to do. It's awesome watching.
So you guys have been on my radar for a little over a year now, and even in the year or so, your business has blown out. Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys are doing a lot more than you were a year ago. Let's talk about the change.
Yeah.
What happened? I mean, was it just exposure? Did you guys change different things?
The biggest thing advice I can give to people that first start a company is don't be greedy and definitely hand out as much as you possibly can with trusting those people that are taking over, certain parts of your business. We have a model where we give more than actually we get, and that has karma in between all that, and it has come back to us tenfold every time. Whereas
it's funny. Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
A lot of business experts, these business gurus, these people that we follow online would say, no, keep it business. What do you mean karma? All that crap, forget it. But I believe it. I think that if you're good to people, it's going to come back to you, right? Yeah. And I don't want to get too touchy-feely about those type of things, but there's some truth to it. If you treat people well, if you give more than you receive, at the end, it's all going to come back. And it seems to be working for you guys.
Yeah, it's an amazing product. You can have whatever amazing products you want, have in the market, but if you don't treat it well and give it to people, again, with trust and knowing and guiding them, and again, what Mckay was saying is getting back to them as quickly as possible, then it's almost like you want to be best friends with basically everybody. And you want them to know, like, we're there for you at any time, and we want to make sure that you're happy, because when you're happy, we're happy. And that's constantly, we just did that, repeat. because there's so many people in the industry and in the industry that are greedy and just want to take what they want and do with what they want with it at that time and not share. But sharing, funny enough, is really caring. It really is. I know, it's ridiculous. But
it works.
It works. It's crazy, but at the same time, I can't tell people enough, if you're a distributor or you're doing something, you have to spread your wings and you have to care about those that are around you. You don't want them placed them as a number or as just a person in that state as a rep for you. You have to honestly care about the people that you work with. That's huge.
Okay, the business model, right? So these larger companies, Elibana, right, and Everlasting Brows, UK and Australia. So just so that I can wrap my head around it, you buy from them in bulk, you bring it back to the US, you're the only distributors in the US, and then you guys have sub-distributors that all over the US. I mean, let's talk about how many you have and then how that works. They come and buy from you directly as opposed to those companies, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we do, exactly that. We bring over the product. We store the product. We have a warehouse here in St. George that we ship out of and ship to those partners. And they're obviously that, part of what Jodi's saying of giving and receiving and everything. They've been a huge blessing to us. And we really feel like with those distributors, those partners that we have in them, that we've been able to just create a real solid network. And you can't get onto forums or support groups without our product being mentioned. And that's basically free advertisement, really. As we grew that network and as that network grew, it just created that foundation to where we were, where we feel very confident in our position with the market. Not only do we have a great product, but we have, and I don't know if I said, but roughly about 20 across the US that distribute for us. So distributing partners that go to trade shows that help us with that stuff. So early on, we had to go and do the trade shows. We had to go in and kind of be that pavement. And like I said, just responding to people, talking to people, working with people, trying to figure out, whether what works and how we can work with some of those industry leaders. And we just kind of slid in.
I think what a lot of it too is not honing in on the people, like the big companies. We never really did that. And that was something we knew would come in time. We honed in on people that had drive and honesty and integrity. And those people created what we are today. And then the big companies came, like Lifetime Fitness, all their spas, like Aria over on the Strip, on the hotel. Just things like that. We get bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's been it's been a lot of fun, but at the same time, it is kind of nerve wracking because we're like, oh my gosh, we're getting so big.
Sure.
Like it's just kind of like, can we do this? Like we need to continue on moving and shaking, which we're really good at. But at the same time, we are getting those bigger companies, which are awesome because we do want to be like the Coca-Cola of lash lifts and microblading.
Yeah, and so just again to wrap it around my own head. You're not retail. So my wife, somebody that's listening, can't go directly to you to buy the products, right? They go,
Correct.
Go through.
Right. So they have to go to an actual salon that purchases from us. So we only sell to licensed professionals, meaning the cosmetologist or the esthetician. And it goes by state to state. So every state is super different.
Oh, is it really?
Oh, yeah. Like it's so political, I would say, and a lot of it, but I won't get into that.
So there are states that are easier to sell to than others?
Yes. So you'll have certain...
Well, let's call them out. Who's the hardest?
California.
No, imagine that. California.
Yeah, they have the strictest...
Making it hard for business.
Yeah.
They do. It's been fun, but at the same time, it is what it is, but they have to grow as, trends grow and so forth. So they have to open doors, and we're opening doors all over the U.S. So it's been great because, anything new people are scared about. And then all of a sudden like, oh no, this is amazing. We have to do this. This is something we have to let our estheticians or cosmetologists do this.
So it looks like you guys are transitioning a little bit from the hustlers, right? You guys going to every trade show, right? Mm-hmm. Getting the word out that you guys are doing this. Which I'm assuming you guys are still doing some of that, but now you guys are kind of, I don't know, kind of taking a step back for the bigger picture.
Right.
What has that transition been like? And have there been any challenges?
I had to calm down, actually. I don't know why, but I was always, people would make fun of me, but in a light, of never sleeping, constantly being on my phone and helping, just responding basically to people. And then I've had to literally let go, and I didn't know how to do that until maybe like 2 years ago or a year ago, and to finally let some people do things that I needed to say, you know what, Jodi, this isn't for you right now. You need to let somebody else do this. So I could do other things. And so in Mckay, my husband, I just was like, I have to have you on board. Like, I'm sinking here. This is just too much. And as soon as he jumped on, it was like, I even asked my accountant, I said, do you think it'd be okay financially if I added my husband? He goes, yeah, I think you should. And oh my gosh, it's shown itself tremendously to add my husband, like beyond. So where I'd be, crying closets and be overwhelmed. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh no, we got this. We're good.
And now you have a big warehouse in New Harmony?
No, we live there, but our warehouse is just right here in Washington Fields.
It makes it easier.
Yeah.
And now, but that's a big deal too, right? Because now it's property. Now you have a lot of inventory. That's another set of headaches and challenges. What was that like when you first? Because I saw the progression, via social media when you guys got it to growing all that stuff. It was stressful for me. I can't imagine what it was like for you.
Yeah, we were in Cedar City. Well, first we were in Phoenix, where I'm from, and then we moved over to New Harmony, Utah, which is southern Utah, like we're saying. But over in Cedar's actually closer to New Harmony, so we thought we would start there. And we were looking to purchasing an actual rent warehouse because we know we're not going anywhere. So we then thought, you know what, we need to actually come down to St. George because we enjoy the St. George atmosphere a little bit more. And, put our kids in school and so forth. But yeah, it was stressful when we were just trying to make sure that we could bring all the product. I mean, if I took a picture and could show it over a podcast, it was like night and day, where we had like basically a corner of a warehouse. And now we've like tripled, do you think, Mckay? Like our actual size.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Cedar City or from?
Yeah, Cedar.
Yeah, from Cedar. I mean, we've definitely, the warehouse that we had in Cedar is, the one that we have now is about 4 times the size.
Really? So how big? Square?
It's not huge. What is it? About 3,000 square feet.
That's a lot of product in there, though.
Yeah. And it's all small product. So that's another beauty or another good thing about this line was that people, a lot of the people that started out in their home. No, sorry about that. Very similar to what we did. Started out in their home, the product's small, so they might be getting some small boxes, but then that creates 100 orders or something along those lines. And so people can start off small, and then they work themselves into commercial sites as well. So
we had to get it. We had to. It wasn't like a maybe. We had to do it. So it was done, and now we're actually thinking about purchasing more warehouses.
Oh, really?
And doing that. Yeah.
Life is good.
Yeah. It's really good. It's been a shock, but if you, like people say, hit the dirt and it pays off. So
there are a lot of industries that I would look at and say, maybe that's an industry I can get into and compete in, right? Mm-hmm. Those type of things. There are certain industries that that I've been approached to help and consult and do other things that I say, no way, it's too cutthroat, and the giants are already controlling the majority of the market, right? Mm-hmm. Where the beauty industry is one of those industries for me, right? Cutthroat. The big boys are already there spending tons and tons of money on advertising, marketing, all that good stuff, perfecting their products. You guys are competing with these guys. What's it been like?
It's been a lot of fun. We actually were...
A lot of fun?
It was a lot of fun. Actually, I like competition. I like to see, a challenge because I'm bored if I'm not. So when we first started with some of these products, we had nobody competing. And then all these people thought they could actually start their own brand and then be a competitor. And it was good. We needed it because we needed recognition of people seeing it online or whatever and saying, oh, well, is that the best or is this the best? And, obviously having people in the industry can be tricky because you want to be ethical and very noble and just saying, I'll stick to my lane, you stick to your lane. Let's just do the best that we can with what we've got. And that's all we can do. Unfortunately, I can't control other people. So we've had, some really big trials, not saying, it's been 100% fun the entire time, but we've definitely had some trials with people that, again, have started their own companies and so forth. And we've had to learn, you know what, and I don't know why, but we're really good at not looking around. We're really good at sticking and looking forward. I see that a lot of people nowadays in business continuously harbor on others, and I don't get that. So
yeah, that's time and energy wasted.
I don't get
right?
it. Yeah. So I get a lot of people talking to me, oh, kid, did you see this person? Did you see that person? Did you see this brand? And I just don't. And so we actually just, say thank you for that, but, we're going to continue to what we're doing. But it's been good, but at the same time, a learning lesson for both Mckay and I to say, you know what, that's not us, that's them. And again, we needed that competition. So we're really grateful for competition.
Okay, business-wise, what have been some of the challenges? Right, again, coming in from the outside, been following you guys a little bit. I would think that it was the rapid growth, especially this last year and a half. But let's get inside and into your heads. What has been the hardest part so far?
The hardest part, I would say, from the growth, I couldn't actually hit it better, is that seeing all these people do extremely well and then seeing other people wanting the product is knowing, like, there's enough for everybody. I don't care what you're doing. Like, everybody, as soon as they take that step back from what they're doing, if they just know and that they will succeed in what they're doing, if they actually, do what the best that they can. And we had a really great compliment of one of our distributors say, I just do what you guys do, and I repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. So I think that humbleness has paid off for that person, and they're actually local here. And if they just continue, and we ourselves as well, we're very open-minded to saying, you know what, that didn't work, we failed that way, let's do it this way, and not taking pride and too much in what we're doing, but actually being, again, humble and moving forward. Because if we didn't, I would say a lot of it would be because of that growth, is being humble and knowing that we just need to do what we need to do that's best.
Yeah.
So do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, and we've had we've been just fortunate enough that the people that are manufacturing the product obviously are very involved, and care very much. Yeah. And we're basically at will. We're able to talk to them on a daily basis about business. I mean, some of these people have been, in the beauty industry, 20 plus years, and have had a business, like a global business that we're able to pull from and we're able to talk to. So there's a lot of contributing factors for our success that we feel like beyond fortunate to be in the situation that we're in, and to have kind of the mentors that we have. And then we feel very fortunate that we're able to then turn and share that with people down the road as well, and just sit, and work with people and watch everybody kind of rise with that tide.
So starting a business is difficult. Running a successful business is harder than that. Running a business with your spouse it just kind of adds to this whole complexity of the ins and outs of running the business. You guys have been doing it for a while now together. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tell us about it. What are the pros and cons?
We started 3 years ago when Sutton, our youngest, was born, and so that was when the floodgates kind of said, "This is the time." So the pros would be that I'm no longer crying closet. And
it's a big deal, yeah. Good.
And I can basically breathe. Obviously, as a man, Mckay can take a better perspective than a woman can emotionally sometimes. I can take it more personally. I've learned to detach, but during that time period, I was actually pretty attached, where I felt like I was wearing everything that was happening, where Mckay was literally looking from a business aspect and then also being extremely caring and very helpful. I mean, just very responsive to everybody. So that was a huge perk for myself in the industry for the last 3 years. And then what else would you say? Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I think that a lot of things, Jodi is extremely talented at, and, complements a lot of the things that I'm not strong at. And so when any entrepreneur has a business, that's their life. And so I think that we both feel fortunate enough that it's both of our lives. So we both love this thing more than, it is one of our children, basically, and it's helped us to grow closer. I mean, I obviously we spend so much time together that I feel fortunate enough. It's hard at times, don't get me wrong. Like we definitely get at each other, and we both know that there's certain things that each one of us does better than the other person. And even though we know that, we probably still test each other quite, I try to throw out as much as I can, flack as we're going. But I think spending time together with one another and looking at a common goal, it's, again, we just feel extremely fortunate.
And you have to know your roles. Like, we learned that kind of quickly. Like, he can't do what I'm doing. It's just black and white. We just can't. It's like traumatic. It's so it's just too much. So we've had to say, you do this, I do this, and let's just keep to that. And I'll ask him questions about the actual whatever's happening, but I'm not actually asking him to do it for me. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I want to do what I'm in charge of. So we have, our list of what we're in charge of, and then that's it. You cut it and you're done. Because I think a lot of couples are doing maybe too much together where they're actually feeling they have to share, but it's just not, it's just, I can't do it. I can't do it. So.
Yeah, no, it's funny. So we started Outlier 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, right? So it's been a little while. And I've had my wife in and out of helping and doing different things, right? Because she's brilliant, right? She teaches biology at the university, but great writer, that type of a person. And so I've had her do some projects, and it's difficult. We get along so well outside of the business thing, right? We're both on the same page when it comes to parenting, life, money, all that stuff. But for whatever reason, when it comes to business, she has a completely different opinion, and I think it's wrong. And she thinks what I'm doing is not the best way, right? And all that good stuff. And we're both, she's a redhead, man. So she has that temperament. I have that hot blood Latino, the Latino blood in there. And so it gets a little.
When it's good, it's good.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when it's bad, it's bad. And when it was business, it was bad, right?
Yeah.
So we've learned that she comes in and helps every once in a while with some of the writing or things like that. But day to day, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, I have a lot of people at church tell me, "Oh, I would be divorced, Jodi, not me,
really.
no me." And I'm like, "Well, you just have to just pick and choose what you're in charge of, like I said, and just stick to it." I mean, it doesn't mean it's all gone. Doesn't mean it's amazing. It means that you have to just do what you can and what the final say or whatever it is what it is, and we're not going to talk about it after this. We've even had to set some limits, date night or whatever. You're not talking about it while you're sitting there at the movies, or you're
that would be tough, right? Because you guys know the ins and outs.
Yeah, and people are like, "What do you guys talk about?" I'm sure you just talk about business the whole time. I'm like, no, not the whole time.
Good.
Because obviously we eat us alive. It's just not healthy. I mean, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're, the president. You have to take some time off. It's just no way you can be a civil person and not.
Agreed.
There's no way.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And so overall, things are continuing to spike upward, right? Things are going well. What are some of the things that are coming up, right? In 3 years, when we have you back on the show, what are we going to be talking about?
Well, I think just like more ventures. I mean, we're starting some, some other ventures with people that we find that have an amazing product. Again, we have, the ability to distribute that amazing product. So I think that 3 years down the line, we would just be, talking about kind of next phases as we see, this industry or what we're doing as we find the right people and the right players for that. And as that kind of takes its life of its own, obviously we're always going to oversee it, but we're going to start focusing more on, okay, well, let's start another business doing something else. And just kind of see how it works in different fields and different industries. Yeah,
because it's fun. It's fun to see like what's failed and what succeeded, and then continue to push. We just started a franchise here in St. George called Crust Club. And
I saw that.
Yeah, it's like totally different. People are like, I can't believe you're doing pies now. We're like, oh, why want we? Like, that makes sense. Like, let's just do something that can take us out of that whole realm and invite us to something that's a little bit more different. And but again, we just like to create little babies into huge families. That's just something we're really good at. It's just something we enjoy, and again, like to share, like I said before. But the next 3 years, beauty trends are constantly changing.
Mm-hmm.
Even like every couple months, you'll get something new. And the people that we're working with are always trying to find out before everybody else. So I think
they're trying to stay ahead of the game.
Yes, right? Huge. Yep. So we have a lot of competitors, like you're saying, in and outside of the USA. And so as soon as they, we get it, I don't know, people pick it up as soon as possible. So we try not to talk about or do anything. We just actually had something launched this last week. It was just, a squeeze glue. And then we're like, okay, here we go. Here are the competitors and so forth. So we're just, leading the pack per se all over the world. And we're really excited and can't wait to see what 3 years brings.
There are 3 types, in my opinion, of entrepreneurs, right? They're the starters, the managers, and then the leaders, a higher level type of deal. And no matter who we are, we all have one of those things, in my opinion, that we are. I mean, we can do all 3 if we need to, but there are the starters, the managers, right, and then the leader. What do you guys consider yourselves? Before you get that, for me, I'm more of a starter. I don't want to manage, right? So once I grow something to a certain level, now it's just managing employees, managing the systems, managing all that stuff. I get bored. It's not a challenge anymore. So I go from starting different things to keep me young and happy, and
I think that would be I think I'm like you, actually, Ever.
Really?
I feel like like that excites me. I don't know, it's almost like a steroid in some ways, like where, oh my gosh, this is can't stop, won't stop type thing. And then I just love adding to, taking away things, like just continuously creating. Mckay's answer, though, I think your answer would be different than mine.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's why we work well together.
I think
Are you the manager?
I think he is the manager.
I think I do well with setting up systems, making sure that, things get taken care of. And that's what, in my previous profession. And one thing we never touched on is Jodi used to be a PE teacher when we started all this
Nice.
stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, she comes from, neither one of us came from like that background, but through personal experience and everything else, I would be just kind of setting up systems, making sure that things are working and that things can work by themselves when we take a step back. So I don't know where that necessarily puts me, but yeah.
No, I mean, that's a great combination here.
Yeah.
Right? It sounds like you're the ideas that, hey, let's go get them.
Yeah.
These huge plans, and then you're a little bit more like grounded in the, well, let's set up a system, make sure it works and it goes well. Okay. For those that are trying to get into this, those that are listening that are entrepreneurs, right, that are either working 9 to 5 and looking to kind of jump into entrepreneurship, or those that are already in their first startup, with your experiences and the things you guys have done, what are some of any type of advice that you have for them? What can they do now to get them to that next level, whatever that next level is for them?
We actually get asked this quite a bit. Even on vacation, we'll get asked like, oh, what do you guys do? And then we tell them what we do and they go, wow, how did you get into that? And I'm like, well, honestly, the best thing you can do is to spread your wings further than what you're actually comfortable with. So meaning I actually was on YouTube and discovered that company in London and kept harassing them to come to the US, and they finally did. And then I finally met them and they thought I was actually a stalker.
Really?
Because I was that into it and I was that committed, where I knew and I felt extremely good about it, where don't just stick to the US. I would say stick outside of anywhere else. It doesn't need to be just local. You need to think worldwide. You need to reach out to hands that you necessarily don't have. I don't know if it's bravery or whatever, but you need to push yourself harder than you can, because it just pays off. Every time I've ever reached out further than what I thought I could do, it's reached way further. And then what else? Do you have anything else about that?
I think that, everybody just is always told, just start. Like, you have to start. And I think that's really what we've always thought about and what we focused on. Is it was really, we did get a loan out for this company. So we went in, took, like a $10,000 loan. That was like huge for us.
I was about to have a panic attack.
I bet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It
was really bad. No. So after we took the loan out, Mckay's like, yeah, just take the money out. I was like, oh, just take money out. That's no big deal. Okay. So I'm a very practical person. Like, I don't gamble. I don't do anything. Like, I'm just very safe. And so as soon as we took this loan out and we just pushed it, oh my gosh, I was like, thankful I'm married to Mckay, because I would never have done this on my own. There's just no way in my brain I would have told myself, oh yeah, just take a loan out, just pay yourself back. But honestly, if you feel good about something, it'll do well because you're pushing it so hard. But obviously be practical with the money wise. It'll come back, and it has, like I said, it's quadrupled. It's gone bonkers. Crazy.
Yeah, I think you have to have that personal investment though.
Yes.
Like, you have to have that just a solid investment into your belief and into your dream or whatever you're trying to do and accomplish. you first have to like go all in. I mean, you can still be a 9 to 5 and have an all in on a side. But you have to, really be pushing that and looking
because we've been around a lot, when you say Mckay, a lot of people that have gone on to being partners or whatever, kind of like using somebody else for the money, and then it didn't really pay off. So but when you are the actual person that is investing and doing all that time, you are actually doing better than tenfold, I think, than actually being like the background and borrowing that money or whatever.
Yeah, and just kind of running off of somebody else's success or something, or thinking short term or anything along those lines. I mean, we all have the same struggles, and we're all worried about finance and getting things under control and wanting that financial freedom and everything else. But it really is. I mean, it's having to stay up at night. It's having to do that hard leg work, but knowing that keep going. And we still, when I see somebody that is constantly after it, and even though they might have like 1 or 2 or 3 failures and they're like, that's not working or anything like that, I know that as they continue to push, they're only going to find that niche and that lane that they'll hit, and they'll see all of those failures. They'll see what they did wrong, what they can tweak here. And it's just, always staying informative, like just learning from other entrepreneurs, that have, we see all of those icons that we basically worship, Musk and those guys that were just like, oh my gosh, how did they do something so crazy? And you realize that it was just that constant drive. It was that vision and drive to get that done, and it was able to propel them to where they are.
So what I'm hearing is start, whether it's all in full time or as a side hustle, no matter what, start, get out of your comfort zone, and then just work as hard as you can. Right. And it's, I think
that easy.
Yeah, that's right. Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I struggle with is, as we have entrepreneurs on the show, right? We talk about entrepreneurship, what they're doing, what they've done, some of the successes and failures and things like that. And sometimes I'm afraid that we're making it sound too sexy, too easy, too whatever. Even when we're talking about failure, it's almost always followed up by, but then I worked hard and we succeeded. And I'm afraid that we're kind of giving some of the younger, those that are listening that are younger, thinking, well, let's just do it, when they're not completely prepared. There's nothing wrong with being in school. There's nothing wrong with working 9 to 5 with a side hustle. There's nothing wrong with being a number 2 or number 3 guy either, right? I don't think that everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur.
No.
It's okay to be a number 1 employee, a number 2 employee.
Right.
You can have a nice, happy, fulfilled life running that if that's who you are. So find out who you are.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you are like Jodi and Mckay that can go out and do their thing and get out alone and work hard, awesome. More power to you. But if you're not, then go get a nice job somewhere.
Yeah, we have people that say, I don't want to be you.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to be me either.
For
Like,
sure.
some days I'm like, I get it. Like, that doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I wouldn't want to be me either. Some days I'm like, nope, not today. So that itself with the other people that are out and about, I'm like, no, they're amazing. And their actual position, I couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Agreed.
And so I'm like, that position that they're fulfilling, oh god, they've conquered it, like mastered. So, but when I look at it, I'm like, nope, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, so find out who you are,
Yeah.
Find out what you like and what I tell everybody, play to your strengths, whatever that is.
Oh,
Right.
Find out what it is. The earlier you can find out, the better, but sometimes it takes us a few years, sometimes it takes a little bit of a lifetime maybe, and that's okay as long as you find out what your strengths are. Once you find out what your strengths are, you go all in, and then you can have a successful career in whatever you want. And it sounds like you guys have found your strengths, the things that you guys are best at. And on top of that, you've been able to find each other, obviously in marriage and entrepreneurship, and you work well together. You complement each other in the different things that you do. And now I guess the sky's the limit for you guys, it sounds like.
Yeah, we definitely had our dark days, but I think we're finally seeing the skylight. And so it's just like, oh gosh, now all those times that, we were basically suffocating are paying off. So, I mean, we're not young. We're 37. And so we're turning 38 this year. We have 3 kids and we're tired.
Yeah, I get
But
it.
we get life, like life happens and things happen. But just being patient with yourself. I don't care if you're 50 or 60, like you can still do a side hustle and have extreme fun.
Agreed.
Like, oh my gosh.
Agreed. I love it. Now, for those that are listening that want to get to know you guys a little bit better, want to follow your journey, the products, where can we find you online?
I would say just myabsolutebeauty.com. That's our website. And then we see everything. So if you want to go to, myabsolutebeauty.com. And then, we do have a warehouse here. Anybody can come by and say hi. Just because it is a warehouse, we're not, closed door policy. We're actually open door. We have 5 full-time employees that are there all time. So, we definitely want to say hi if you guys are going to Vegas or up to Salt Lake. But we definitely, are friendly.
So stop by and say hello.
Please do. Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
So Outliers, you can go to outlierhq.com. That's outlierhq.com. First of all, subscribe to the podcast, rate, review it. But there you're going to find information for Jodi and Mckay, links to their social media accounts, their website, see what they're doing, follow them. They're the real deal. They're making it happen. They're in the trenches like the rest of us and are succeeding. So this is a great story, and I really appreciate you guys coming by and telling it and sharing your words of wisdom and kind of letting us into your little entrepreneurial journey. It's been fantastic. Thank you for being on.
Thank you, Ever. I'm really appreciative of all your time.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah.
Outliers, we'll talk to you tomorrow.